So, as some of you may know, Kid Cudi's highly anticipated follow-up to his 2010 album Man on the Moon 2 is finally gonna see the light of day. Why is this such a big deal, you may ask? Well, to the 5 of us that still care, we've been waiting. Not ready, just waiting. But the hype has been building, and this is the 3rd album in what was supposed to be a trilogy of projects. But we only ever got the first 2, and then some stuff happened. 10 years, baby! It's been 10 years! But throughout the time, he's had some bumps in the road, to put it lightly. So I'm wondering if he's still got it, or are excited. Others saying that he's washed up, and something like this is better off staying on the shelf, right next to Detox, or that J. Cole / Kendrick collab. Or the 50 Kanye albums. That dude just loves to announce and never drops it. It drives me insane. Now, I shouldn't need to explain why people should be excited about this. I'm super excited about it. That should be enough. But seriously, the dude's done a lot for hip-hop over the years. It's crazy. Man, I even made a beat for Man on the Moon 3 back in 2016 when I was just starting out making beats. It sounded like this. I was so proud of this. I even wanted to show it to him in my city on tour. You know, music dream chasing shenanigans. But I never went to the concert. So Cudi, if you ever see this video somehow, hit me up, man, we'll talk. But some of y'all don't give this man the respect he deserves. What am I saying? He was one of the main contributors on 808 and Heartbreaks, an album that went on to influence an entire generation of artists, not to mention contributions on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and some Cruel Summer stuff if we're still talking Kanye. He also had his Breakout mixtape, which had the hit Day and Night on it, as well as fan classics such as The Prayer. He also pushed the envelope, talking about and bringing awareness to mental health and depression on his songs, not seen a lot in the hip-hop scene before, at least to the degree. And of course, the signature raging, the main tactic used by preteens to lash out at their parents for taking away their Game Boys. Yeah, Cudi was on that heavy. Travis has kind of gone and taken the whole rage mantle from him now, but I guess he's cool with it. They even got matching tattoos. But back to the question at hand. Under Kanye's label Good Music, Cudi would release 2 projects, both in his Man on the Moon series, which are amazing albums in their own right. But after being a Good Music heavyweight for a couple more years, Cudi would leave GM to focus on his own stuff. In this time, which is still now, Cudi would release a bunch of projects, some being okay, and some just So what we're going to do is briefly go over these ones, talk about them a bit, and at the end answer the question, is Man on the Moon 3 going to be good or bad based on his past stuff? I should have pointed that out. So, as mentioned a second ago, Cudi would release some projects under Good and then leave to focus on himself, which is all well and dandy. What we're gonna do is look at some of these solo projects, go through some songs, and see where he's at now based on his past stuff. The projects we'll be looking at are Indicud, Speeding Bullet to Heaven, and Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin. Jeez, what names. Let's start with Indicud. Indicud. You know, I was really excited to listen to this when this came out. After a long hiatus, minus his wizard thing, which I didn't know about at the time, people were eager to hear that new solo Cudi on his solo dolo flex. And with this album, we got it. Now, this tape does do a couple of things. It sees Cudi experimenting with different beats, rap techniques, and rhythms. You can see him moving closer and closer to a rock-inspired sound here, while still being a rap album. At least fundamentally. Not a rap rock per se, but we're getting there. This album, a lot of people don't know this, but Cudi is also a producer. But most of the time, he hands the beats off to his main guys, Plain Pat and Emil. But for this one, oh boy, he didn't want to just dip his hands. He wanted to cannonball into those beats. A couple of songs stand out for me. Just What I Am and Young Lady Will Always Be Prime. I just love the sound and vibe of those, really. But after the beginning, man, does this tape take a fall. All the songs kind of just mush into each other and they lose any unique feelings to them. I guess the Kendrick track is alright. And there's something about Bees with RZA that, I don't know, it just makes me laugh when I hear it. But in a good way. But man, this album could have been so much better. And it's a shame, really. I really wanted to like it a lot more than I do. Hello. Bites from the future past here. And as I was writing this part, I realized that Indicud was actually released under Good Music. I was always under the impression that Creepers from Cruel Summer in 2012 was the last thing he did with him, but I guess not. I guess he stuck around a little bit longer. But I'm still keeping this part in because Good didn't really have too much in hand with it as much as I think, and it doesn't really matter either way. This was the direction he was going regardless. Oh boy, we're getting into it. So out of all of his albums, I would honestly say this is probably his most controversial. This album was not received well by a lot of people when it came out in 2015. And of course, got the infamous 0 rating from the Melon Man himself, which Cudi did respond to actually, indirectly. But it was all for the main reason that this album was not a rap album. Complete 180 in the drive-thru. It saw Cudi going body deep into a rock grunge sound, which was a complete departure from literally almost all of his stuff up until this point. And a lot of people didn't really like that. They just wanted Man on the Moon 3, especially after that sort of teaser album that released before this one, Satellite Flight. So fans just assumed that the Moon Cudi was coming back full swing, but never assume. He also produced most of this album himself. Notice the trend? Look, I'm not saying don't branch out into different sounds and stuff, like that's cool. An artist is supposed to try different things, find new ideas, test new waters. That's what keeps things fresh and entertaining, energy going. Stuff gets boring and repetitive without that. If that's what you feel, then do it, dude. But this was not it. Now, since the release in 2015, fans have come around to it more, and I do like some songs off of it. Confused is great. I genuinely like that song. I liked it when it came out too. The production and song progression, like, I like it, man. I'm gonna be honest, I have to listen to this album again, because it's been a minute, but when I first had it, I don't remember enjoying it all too much. Hey, another update, again. I actually did listen to the album again recently when I was working. And yeah, it still sucks. It still stinks. Don't bother. I think there's like 3 more tracks that I actually like more than the first time I listened to it. But yeah, yeah, it's still not it. What I find funny is that there's people coming back to it a couple years later talking about ahead of its time and God, he's a genius. Listen, y'all, you can like the album, okay? No one's saying you can't, but this is not true, and you know it. You go back in your corner and complain about how you found Tame Impala before everybody else did, or that obscure punk band you hope nobody else finds. And finally, we come to the end. The last solo project from the certified rage boy as of this video, and honestly, I quite like it. A lot, actually. There's a really good chunk of tracks here that really feel like they arcing back from the original Man on the Moon Day stuff. Just that vibe and flow, as well as a new overall feel to them, and honestly, I'm here for it. Whether it's the montage sounding by design with Andre 3000, Andre Benjamin, or the movie soundtrack like Rose Golden with, yep, you read that right, Willow Smith. This album is full of surprises and has a stripped back cinematic like quality to it, and honestly, when I first listened to it, I wasn't feeling it that much, but I like some stuff. But now, after like my 3rd listen this year alone, start to finish, I can honestly say this is really underrated, and if you're a Cudi fan, it's definitely worth your time. If you haven't heard it yet, you owe it to yourself, at least to check it out. And with it coming out just 1 year after Speeding Bullet, like, dude, I don't know how he did it, but he did it, and I am here for it. So, with all this being said, from blunders to straight trash to a redeeming set of songs, it seems like Cudi's headed on the right track, and with Kid Cudi Ghost being as good as it is, to the single Leader of the Delinquents, can't tell you how many takes that took, a nice track to tide over the fans, I can honestly say Cudi is in a really good spot right now. But with that being said, to answer the question posed at the beginning of the video, will Man on the Moon 3 be good? I don't know, dude, I'm not making it. But honestly, I think it'll be good. At least based off of that teaser track he posted, it sounded good. And with the course he's on now, he's on track to be doing some good stuff. Unless the teaser track isn't even on the album, in which, listen, why do you guys do that? Okay, just between me and you, okay? Like, it's not even a bonus or anything. Like, you don't even put it as a bonus. Like, you just put it as a teaser, but it's not even a full song, but you made it. Come on, help me out, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, if you're a fan of the Man on the Moon or hate him, let me know in the comments why. I'd love to hear it. And leave a like on this video too if you'd enjoyed it. Yep, I guess you could say Cudi is in a good place in my humble opinion. Yeah, I did it again. See ya.